Coventry couple Brian and Andrew and their friends Pete and Les went to Crete to see the construction work commence on their house.
We're here and it started.
And to get a taste of what their lives might be like when the house is finally finished. For Pete and Les, Crete will be a holiday destination. And on a trip to their local distillery, they discover that the fiery spirit, Raki, is a worthy replacement for their normal G&Ts.
I wouldn't have missed this at all. No, it's brilliant. This is proper Crete.
But for Brian and Andrew, the pressure is on to secure jobs to finance their new life in Crete. Brian tries his hand at all sorts of things, but lets one golden opportunity slip through his fingers.
You have to clean it up, you know, huh?
Pick it up.
Mess in my kitchen?
Yes, yes.
Although work is underway on the house in Crete, it's not yet been paid for. To finance the building, Brian and Andrew must sell their house in Coventry. But things are not going well.
A guest room.
I don't like the green.
What don't you like?
Green, isn't it? Very green, yeah.
Yes, well, it is called the green room. This is wild sage.
Yeah, this definitely isn't my colour.
You talk about the price. Well, is the price negotiable?
There is some latitude. But the first thing is it's got to start with a 3.
They need to realise around £315,000, but the estate agent is doubtful.
You're putting me under pressure. I'm going to have to say I think we need to look at the price. Not all the way down to the 3, but I think we need to be moving it pretty quickly down from the 315.
And Douglas, the developer, is getting impatient.
We've had the plot reserved for you for a month. And I guess we're probably really wanting to move on to your purchase.
Right. Well, we want to proceed. But you're also aware right from the start that the project would only work by the sale of this house. And I would suggest that it's probably going to be about 6 weeks.
Really, another 6 weeks?
Yeah.
Actually longer than we anticipated.
But finally, it's happened.
As we've now exchanged...
At last, Brian and Andrew have found a couple who share their taste in soft furnishings, and they've sold the house.
As happy as we said when you came round, you would be the ones that bought
We
it.
did.
You had that sort of
When you left, you
Yes.
had a bounce.
a sparkle.
Just when I walked in here, I just felt something different. I thought, oh yes, I could live here. So it was just, I just felt it was right.
Yeah, plenty of jobs for you to get me to do.
I really am genuinely thrilled that it's been passed on to people that are going to care.
Cheers.
Cheers.
But since the house in Crete won't be ready for months, Brian and Andrew will soon be homeless. So they've decided that rather than rent in Coventry, they'll bring forward their move to Crete and rent there. Andrew is now on to the next critical stage of relocating, getting a job. He's got an interview for a travel rep's job with a UK tour operator. But it's a job he's never done before, and there's fierce competition.
Right, OK, everyone, if you'd like to come through to the boardroom.
Andrew will be tested on his knowledge of Crete in front of a team of travel reps and fellow interviewees. The pressure is on, but at least he has a captive audience to talk to about a subject that's close to his heart.
First of all, if you really want to be a little bit more adventurous, because of the Gulf of Georgopoli, you've actually got marvellous coastline here with wonderful shelved beaches, so they're perfectly safe for families. Nothing better than that. All the taverns, the cafes, the restaurants, the bars, the majority of them are family owned, and you're actually treated like you are a member of the family. They welcome you with open arms. Now, as with most of Greece, and in particular Crete, you will find architecture from just about every different style. There's Venetian, there's Moorish, everything is there.
All those trips to Crete may pay off.
Thank you.
But he has no experience of being a rep, and he's facing a grilling from someone who knows what a real rep has to be made of.
Now, obviously, you want to be the best rep ever. However, you're not going to be able to be there 24/7.
No.
So what would you leave in the accommodations for your guests for when you're not there?
Obviously, contact details.
And where would you keep those contact details?
Notice board.
Yes. You're looking after the Leonidas studios, okay? A group of youngsters continuously coming in late at about 4:30 in the morning. They're disturbing all the other guests. What do you do?
It's a difficult one to answer without knowing company policies on certain things.
All I'm looking for, really, Andrew, is just common sense. I'm not looking for you to give me what you think I want to hear. Just tell me what you would do in that situation. All right, to make it a bit easier for you, Mr. Smith is now really irate. His wife hasn't slept, his children haven't slept, and he says to you, that is it, I paid a lot of money to come on this holiday, and I want those people moved. What do you do?
If they're not, or if they're really that unhappy, it may be necessary to think of moving them to somewhere else.
What do you think they're going to say to you when you suggest that to them?
Probably not going to want to do it. They probably want the other people moving.
And what do you think they're going to say to you when you suggest that to them?
Same thing.
Okay. Now, I've asked you lots of questions. I made them as difficult as I possibly could for you. Any questions you'd like to ask me?
Remuneration.
Right, this is based on 2003.
Right.
It's actually £500 a month for a brand new rep with no experience.
£500 a month is not going to be enough to live on in Crete, and it's only for 6 months of the year. But Andrew is desperate to get this job, because they're going to need every penny they can get. As they're now moving to Crete earlier than planned, Brian has already handed in his notice at Safeways. But he has no prospect of a job lined up in Crete and is becoming increasingly anxious.
I need to work. I've got to work. I can't not work. Whether or not I work in a supermarket is neither here nor there. I may well do. You may see me at the customer service desk at the local spa. It's a bit of an emotional roller coaster, and not only moving out to Crete is a big step, moving away from sort of the comfort of this store and the people is also a big wrench. So I've got the butterflies.
I miss him like mad.
I miss you as well. All right, come on. Because you start me off.
With the move to Crete only weeks away, even friends Pete and Les are starting to get nervous for them.
I just wonder whether they've given it enough consideration. Whether they, because, it's all right, Brian's 10 years older than Andrew, and, well, Brian was almost going out there probably to semi-retire. Andrew's not going to go out there to semi-retire. He's going to need to earn some sort of money.
All right, they love the island, but they don't know that many people out there. And Brian's quite an outgoing person. He likes people around him. He likes his family around him.
There are some family members, though, who will be going to Crete with Brian and Andrew. But before their 3 cats and 2 dogs are able to travel, they need to be chipped and vaccinated.
Oh dear, is that enough? Okay, there you go. Thank you.
It's all right. Let's get you to your bowl. Come on.
It's stressful for the animals, but even more so for their doting owners.
Got it. All right. Oh. This is a nightmare. Sit.
Some food. There's your rabies.
Right, let him out. Let him go.
Come on. Have a little run.
Jesus Christ. I can't believe how stressed I got. They're as much a family as kids are. I think that we've gone through the trauma now. For them, we're on our way.
2,500 miles away in Crete, building work continues. Brian has ordered an enormous automated picture window for the house, which is being built in England and shipped over. He's meant to be coordinating things, but he's been too busy with more domestic matters, and John Harvey, the sales manager for the glass company, is not at all happy.
Brian is not a normal client that we deal with. He's very demanding and doesn't always come up with the information when we ask him. We're a lead time for the specialist bearings, the specialist works. We're going to have a pre-build to make sure it works because it's never been done before. It's really, really annoying to see all this hard work being flitted away in time. The last 2 weeks has been horrendous. We've done what we had to do. We jumped through all the hoops and we've delivered. He hasn't given us the information.
In an attempt to ease frustrations and discuss detailed dimensions, John sidesteps Brian and calls Andrew instead.
Yeah. Right, okay. 240mm wide. So more than 10mm out won't work. So they've got to follow your plan measurements exact. Yeah. Alright, talk to you soon, bye. Oh, that's quite straightforward.
I'm still concerned about how they're going to fit the window in, whether it's going to be ground level or first floor level.
The window goes in through the garage entrance, it's positioned against the back wall, they then connect up the frames and the motor, and then it goes up on its runners.
Not the way they told me it was, because they want a crane to lower it in from the outside, not from the garage side.
They can't do that because the house
Well,
is
you better
built.
tell them
He's
then.
just told me that. They want a crane to lift it off the lorry.
No, he said he told me he wanted it to be lifted into position.
It can't be lifted in position because the house will have a roof on.
Fine, I've made the point, Andrew. I'm really getting pissed off with this because every time I say something, it's actually being knocked back. All I do is report back on what meetings I've had.
They're going to sort the window out, let them do the worrying about that. We're not physically fitting it, they're fitting it. If they don't ask for something and then wish they had afterwards, that's their problem, not ours.
I don't accept this abdication that happens so often. I don't work on black and white.
I know you don't, but on this occasion you're going to have to.
With the move only 6 weeks away, Brian's stress levels are beginning to spiral out of control. Brian and Andrew have brought forward their move to Crete, but the looming deadlines have caused tensions to boil over. And to soothe Brian's jagged nerves, Andrew flies out to Crete to prepare the ground for their big move. The first task Brian has set Andrew is to find a house to rent. It has to be big enough and secure enough for Brian, Andrew and their 5 animals. It also has to be cheap, and ideally it has to overlook the build. But Andrew is not fazed, and sure enough, as soon as he arrives, the owner of his B&B tips him off about the perfect place.
Now, it might be a bit difficult trying to keep them out of here. Ooh, pea soup. Ugh. That fence seems to go round there, and it's reasonably safe for the animals as well. Let's just have a look down here. So that's us down there, where that grey concrete is. That's where our house is going to rise up out of there. If Brian gets his telescope, he'll be able to have a look down there and see whether they're actually going to finish on time or not.
Back home in Coventry, Brian is trying to work out how to squeeze the belongings from their 5-bedroomed house into a 2-bedroomed rented apartment.
I've been left to sort of look after and sort out things like this ridiculous sombrero. I mean, how on earth would anybody bring this back on a plane? I mean, that is ridiculous. So that can go. And my bows and arrows. There's a lot here, but I have really, really got to be disciplined in getting rid of stuff.
While Brian's knee-deep in boxes, Andrew is considering whether the property really will accommodate the 5 pets.
It's obviously the living room as such. Assuming that's kitchen. That's fine. And it's a tiled floor, so I mean, it doesn't matter about the animals being in here because there's no carpets to mess up. So if they have any little accidents, at least it'll be easy to keep clean, won't it? Just take some pictures for Brian so he doesn't feel totally left out by not being here. But If I try and describe it, he'll never understand. So if I take some pictures, then he'll understand.
It's the first time since we've been together that we've been on our own, and it is really strange. He's actually a darling. He really is. He's a charming man and a great companion.
Are you missing him?
I am. I'm missing him very much. But I know that in a week's time, he'll be here and he'll help sort this mess out, because I am hopeless at this. I want to save everything, including the ridiculous hat.
This 4-day trip is causing them great heartache, plus huge phone bills, as Brian wants to know every little detail.
Been to see the house we could probably rent. It's absolutely excellent. It will actually really do us well. I've taken lots of photographs, so I can show you pictures when I get home. So that's good news. If we can get that tied up, we'll be fine. So we're not going to be homeless. Miss you lots. You take care. Bye. It seems strange not having him here to fire questions at and sound things off him, really. It does. It's strange. Brian, I think, misses not being here and not being able to have his input on things and not being able to say what he feels, really.
Andrew's next task is to look at how the build is progressing.
Last time I was here, all that was here was just this little bit of marking out concrete. But since then, they've shuttered up and built to what seems to be an incredibly high height.
Even though Brian has been told to stop meddling, he's made Andrew promise to make sure the architect, Michaelis, knows what is happening with the window.
And over here, it's the place where the window should drop down, okay? Now, until here, we have the glass, and all this becomes a balcony. If you open the glass, you have a balcony with covered area behind. So
Michaelis seems to know roughly where the window is going, and Andrew trusts he'll check the position to the last millimetre. Meanwhile, Michaelis is eager to show Andrew the rest of the layout.
The pool starts plus or minus somewhere there. It goes behind 5 meters by 7, and it will be at the same level with the house.
While it's been exciting for Andrew to see the house growing, he doesn't have an awful lot more information to give Brian when he calls later that evening.
How's progress out there?
Well, concrete's now about 1 metre high. It's higher than I thought it was going to be, but I suppose in a way that's better because it'll give us a better view.
Right. Do you think they know what they're doing?
Yes, they do. They know exactly what they're doing. It's the right size and it's the right shape and it's pointing in the right direction. So that's fine.
Right. Because I'm feeling pretty bloody helpless back here.
Well, no, you concentrate on doing the packing and the stuff at that end. I'll sort the bits at this end.
Are you telling me everything, Andrew?
Yes, I am. Don't worry.
Well, can I ring anybody to speed things along?
No, don't. I'll sort it from here. But it's all fine. You don't need to interfere at all.
I'm not interfering.
I know, but if you start ringing people, they're going to get one story from you, and then they're going to get one from me, and they won't know which one they're following.
Brian is suffering from increasing stress over the move. To calm himself down, he pays a visit to Coventry Cathedral. He was a choir boy here over 40 years ago, and it's been a sanctuary for him ever since.
It has been a retreat. If I've had problems, I've come through this building, walked around, brought people with me and said nothing, come out and the problem solved. So, yeah, it does. In 1959 to 64, when I was here as a chorister, it was the most exciting time. It really was. And the consecration of this cathedral in 1962 on the 25th of May, even as a child, I remember it now so clearly. I will miss this building so very much. You know, just being back there a minute ago, it all comes back. It was such an important part of my life. ridiculous, really, isn't it? Getting upset.
Comforted by his visit, Brian feels better able to deal with the huge life change he's about to undergo. Still on his visit to Crete, Andrew knows that Brian is under a lot of strain. And to make him happier, he arranges a meeting with Mikhailis, the architect, to ease channels of communication.
Obviously, we're going to be quite busy packing, moving house, so if there are any problems, contact Solar Glass direct about the big window. It'll be easier if you do it from this end rather than Brian or myself in the UK, because we're going to be so busy with the other bits and pieces.
I will contact directly also you. I can email you everything, because I don't need to involve too many people in all this stuff.
Talk to me, don't talk to Brian. That will be the simplest solution.
I feel better, okay. Don't tell him.
No.
Anyway, don't worry if we will have any problems. We will not have, but for any case, you will be the first to know.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
A week later, and Brian and Andrew are reunited back home in Coventry. Brian is calmer now and reassured by Andrew's hard work in Crete. And as the morning's post arrives, he's about to be even more pleased with him.
I've got phone bill, junk mail, a letter from Cosmo. Pleased to offer you a position with the company.
Great.
We've got something.
Yes, that is good.
All that grilling was worth it. She did not put me through the mill, you know.
My heart is going.
Doesn't
I told
say
you, I knew you'd get it.
Please confirm your acceptance and available starting date.
You're just what they wanted. That's really good. So I can live a life of Riley now.
No, you can't.
I can. Is that a full 12 months, or is it just... Do you think...
The summer 2004 season.
Right.
It's seasonal. It's seasonal. All the work's seasonal. So it's like April, October.
Where's it based?
Doesn't say that. Doesn't say.
But it should be fairly close to
They know where we're going to live, so she said she'd bear that in mind. So at least the pressure's off a bit now.
Well,
I've just got to get you something now.
I know.
I'm going to be kept.
I don't want to be kept.
No.
I never have been kept. I've usually been the keeper.
Get that.
In the next programme, just as things seem to be working out, Brian and Andrew have to make an emergency trip to Crete when building costs spiral out of control.
Is this pretty horrendous?
That off of that takes us down to about £5,000.
And that is far, far too close to call.
Douglas, the developer, won't budge.
I am losing patience.
Well, we are as well.
Thanks very much.
And the whole project is in dire jeopardy.
We will not be bullied, browbeaten, and I'm getting really angry.
I think we need to walk away now with our heads held high.
Definitely.